Shalom and welcome once again to Treasures of the Torah. I'm Moreh Matan, Pastor Matt McKeown, and it's great to be back with you. We are in a brand new Torah portion this week, of course, the parasha called Parashat Vayechi, and this has an interesting mitzvah in it, and that is being kind to the dead. That might seem a little morbid of a subject to talk about, but it's really something that is very loving. And let's look at the scripture to see exactly what we're talking about here. We're looking at Genesis chapter 47, verse 29. Jacob said to Joseph, "Deal kindly with me. Do not bury me, I pray you, in Egypt." He does not want to be buried in Egypt, but wants to be laid to rest in the land of his fathers. And Rashi brings this down: the kindness shown to the dead is true kindness. Now, why is this the case? Well, obviously, a person that is dead cannot repay the kindness that you give them. And this is why Rashi says this. And this is the meaning of dealing kindly with Jacob, not to bury him there, to carry him up, carry his bones up out of the land of Egypt and take them back to Israel. Now, as you know, this year we're going through this collection of commentaries known as Wellspring of Torah. And in this particular midrash that is in this collection, Midrash Talpiot, it says this: Chesed shel emet, true kindness. The acts of kindness shown to the dead. The word emet, truth, contains the letters aleph, mem, and tav. The initials of the Hebrew words for aron, or the coffin, mitah, or the bier, and the tachrechin, the shrouds, the burial shrouds. These symbolize the acts of loving service that we must perform for the dead. This is a very loving thing, something that we can do to show love to the family. And in a Jewish context, it might have a bit of a different significance than in a non-Jewish one. And let me explain something to you. If you're unfamiliar, someone who is a religious Jew, someone who is observant in their Judaism, the body is supposed to be buried within 24 hours of death, and the body is not embalmed in someone that is religious. The idea is we don't want to keep the body from decaying. We want the body to go back to the earth. We want the body to naturally decay and to return to nature. And so there's no embalming, there's no things like that. Now, also, in an observant Jewish context, there's no cremation either. That's something that non-Jews do. So for a Jewish person, there must be systems in place where a funeral can happen very quickly. And that is why there is a Jewish burial society in each community, in each synagogue community. And this is a group of people that is called upon. They have to be ready, sort of at a moment's notice. If someone passes, they spring into action and they do those things which are needed, those particular prayers and the service that needs to happen for someone that has died. And as I said, since that happens within 24 hours, these people have to be ready relatively quickly. And this is a big mitzvah. This is a huge act of kindness that someone can do. And as Rashi says, it's an act of true kindness because, as I mentioned, it's not like a dead person can pay you back. So dealing kindly with Jacob, this was a big deal. And as we know, Jacob's bones and Joseph's bones were brought out of Egypt when the children of Israel came out in the Exodus. We also know, according to our rabbis, that it was in the merit of the bones of Joseph that all of the miracles happened at the Exodus, the crossing of the Red Sea, the manna, all of those miracles happened as a result of the merit of Joseph because they had the bones of Joseph with them. This is a very Jewish idea. We don't have to wait until someone dies to do an act of kindness. We don't have to wait until we die to do an act of kindness for our friends and loved ones. Let me please encourage you to make arrangements when you are able to do so, to have things like your will in place, to have your wishes for your service and the way that your estate should be divided up. All of that should be taken care of long before you pass, while you're in a state of sound mind and body. You shouldn't wait till the last minute. I have seen, unfortunately, some devastating circumstances where families can get into disagreements or even arguments and fights over possessions after someone dies. Make sure that you have your wishes spelled out so that there isn't any disturbance. While people are making arrangements for your funeral, they shouldn't be discussing who gets what or things like that. We should be focusing on the grieving process. So let me just give you a bit of an encouragement to do that, to take care of these things. That is an act of loving kindness that you can do for your loved ones before you pass. So this idea of doing the true kindness, what is it that you can do to honor someone that has passed on? It might not even be a family member. It might just be a friend. It might be a friend of the family, or maybe a coworker or a boss at work. What can you do as an act of loving kindness done in honor of that person that has passed? And how can you choose to have that person's legacy carry on through you? I pray that this message has been a blessing to you, even though it's about a sort of difficult subject. It's something that we must face and talk about. If you'd like to study with me, where I graduated at Yeshivat Shuvu, you can go to shuvu.tv and fill out an application there. May God bless you as you continue to study and grow in His Word. Shabbat Shalom.